Okay, so today is going to be the beginning of this project. It's a GSR Integra, and if you don't want to hear the story behind it, I will put the time in the video or whatever to skip to. But before we dig into it, I'll tell you the story of how I acquired this car. Okay, so how I acquired this Integra, it's kind of a long story, so if you want to hear it, bear with me. When I moved here, I saw the car. It's actually like the only Honda I saw in town here. It's mostly like old trucks and stuff. And it was clear that it was sitting for a while. Obviously the sun fade and I think it needed air in tires or something. But even throughout the months that I lived here, it was still sitting there and it hasn't moved. So I was like, one of these days I'm gonna go knock on the door. In the meantime, I bought that green one because I got a really good deal on that. If you watch the other video of the green Integra, you know the whole backstory on that. It needed an engine, has a bent valve, still has a bent valve. So one day my mom sent me a screenshot of someone posting this up for sale. It was an older lady, and she wanted $300 or $350 for it. I was like, cool. I messaged her, and I gave her my information or whatever. And for some reason, because I wasn't a local, basically, she didn't want to sell it to me, or she didn't think I was a local because my Facebook doesn't say that I live here because I just never changed it. So she basically said there's other people ahead of me and she's not going to sell it to me. I even offered her more money, and just long story short, sold it to someone else. The person who bought it was a kid. I'll put pictures of it, be like literally days before he owned it, what it looked like, and then now it looks like this with all the. He went to town with a black rattle can basically. But anyways, he bought it, and I was kind of upset. I was like, man, I really wanted that car for the motor, because all it needed on our post was wheel bearings and a battery, basically. And I was just gonna yank the motor, put it in my car, and be good to go, and have a rear disc conversion, part out the rest, and make some money. Well, after that, I saw the kid driving around, and I pulled up next to him at the gas station one day, and I was like, hey man, if you want to sell this, I'll give you double what you paid for it. So I'm like, $350 is dirt cheap, so I give him, $700. I can still make money off it. I got a motor for my car, whatever. And I didn't even know if it was standard or not. And he kind of looked at me and thought about it for a second, and he's like, no, I want to build it. I was like, well, okay, well, do you mind if I look at it anyways? So I looked at the car, I got out, looked at it, it was standard, and I looked inside, it had GSR seats in it, blue GSR seats, which I'll show you everything in a minute. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Someone swapped nice seats in here. And I was like, well, mind if I see what the engine's got? Pop the hood, and it's a GSR. I looked at the VIN, and it is a GSR shell, GSR motor, everything. It is an Acura GSR. So the kid bought a GSR Integra that needed a battery and wheel bearings for $350. Man, did that hurt. Especially seeing it get rattle canned and all that stuff, like immediately after. So anyways, I told him right there, I was like, listen, I'll give you $1,000 for the car if you change your mind. And he's like, well, I'll think about it, but I want to build it. I don't think I'll sell it. So, and he was telling me he wanted to get fenders and blah, blah, blah. So time went on, and like a week later, he texted me. He found me on Facebook and messaged me. And was like, hey man, were you the guy that stopped me at the gas station and wanted to buy my car? And I was like, yeah, like thinking he's gonna sell it. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, you used to build these, right? And I was like, yeah, I built them over the years. He's like, oh, well, I was just wondering, I blew the clutch out and I don't know what kind to get and what brand. I was like, gosh dang it, whatever. So I told him what brand, told him to get XD, just get OEM so you're not beating on the car, blah, blah, blah. So 3 days later, I get a message from him again. He goes, hey man, I kind of basically told me that he started taking the car apart and got over his head with it, and he's like, I'll sell it to you for $1,400. And I was kind of like, yeah, well, I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if he blew the engine. Just said he blew the clutch or whatever. I was like, I'll come look at it anyway. So I got off work and went up, looked at the car, and kind of talked to him some more. And basically, I don't think he blew the clutch. I think he snapped an axle because he lived on a dirt road. Like everywhere here is, or most of the roads here are dirt roads. And they got a washboard kind of effect when they grade the roads where it gets bumpy. I think he snapped an axle. I don't think he blew the clutch because obviously it's own differential. If you snap the axle, you're gonna transfer power to the least load, which would be where the snapped axle is because it's not moving or it's not on the ground. And I talked to him over and over and kind of was like, I'm not interested at $1,400 because I don't know if he actually blew the engine or if something else major is wrong with the car. And he just bought the clutch, brand new XCD clutch, axles, battery. I told him I'll give you the money for what the parts are worth and try to give you some money back based on what you paid for the car. And he's like, yeah, that works. So I gave him a certain amount of money. I'm not gonna really disclose that. There's definitely a risk in there because I don't know what's wrong with the car yet. But I'm assuming it was an axle, so we're gonna find that out along the way. But anyways, I'll give you a tour of the car. Also, I forgot to mention that the car was completely torn apart when I went and picked it up, like the whole front end. Every ball joint, every thread was gone. Like you just beat on them with a hammer to get them popped out. So I basically had to sit here and cross thread each ball joint, like the tie rod, the upper control arm, lower ball joint, to get it kind of together so it would roll. And I barely got like 3 threads on there just to get it to roll on a trailer. And also, and yeah, it's still torn apart. So he basically was like, I don't know, he said he was gonna pull the motor or something. When I got up there, the transmission case bolts, not the bell housing bolts, were all like undone, like half of them were undone. So he was basically trying to pull the transmission off by taking the case in half. So it's a mess. It still is a mess. I gotta figure out all the clips and stuff, which hopefully that's not too bad, and figure some of this stuff out. Luckily I have my running and driving Integra to kind of compare wire stuff to, because I'm not as familiar with Integras as I am with EFs. There's a cap to the new battery. So that's going to be kind of fun. He had a subwoofer in it that he kind of hacked in there. I got to check and see if the wiring's even in there still. But yeah, that's what it looks like right now. So if you want to kind of stick around for the whole rebuild or whatever revamp of this car, it's going to be multi-video kind of series, I guess, because there's so much work I got to put into this. First and foremost is going to be putting the new front end in, water pump, timing belt. I want to get it running first, make sure there's nothing catastrophically wrong with the engine or transmission. I got the clutch and new axles with the car because I think he yanked the axles out, like grabbed the shaft and pulled them because the boots are ripped in half and like one of them still stuck in the transmission. So basically, first get it running and driving, and then from there I'm gonna do body stuff. So I got a good deal on that parts car. It's an automatic and there's no motor or anything in it. The guy bought it to swap his EG basically. So I got doors because this needs a door, and that car also has a clean fender on it, so I'm gonna swap the fenders. Door and quarter panels on this are mint. So that's kind of one of the big reasons I'm gonna keep it. And like always, rip these off because this is what causes rust. Look at all that dirt in there. So this isn't gonna have any body work in this video, or whatever, not body work, but no body stuff. It's all mechanical. But these quarter panels are pretty mint. Yeah, junk. So anyways, let's start tearing into it. Gonna get the front end off the ground. Why are you licking that? Anyways, get the front end off the ground, and you're distracting me, woman. What is that? Are you like eating dirt? I'm going to take the steering knuckles off, bring them to the shop to get new bearings pressed in, because I don't have a press, and swap all the front end stuff today. That way it's kind of all together. I'm also going to put the stock LS webs from my green car on here because these wheels are so freaking dumb. And these lug nuts are such a pain to get on and off with the key because it sits so close to this, the wall right here. And while I have that apart, I'm probably gonna try to do the clutch today as well. Yeah, the ball joint is like half out. It's like, couldn't get it in all the way. Or only got it on like 3 threads, and that's what I was talking about with the boot. Like, it just looks like they yanked it out, and that was about it. Got the knuckles off. I'm gonna go to town and get them pressed. I'm probably gonna have to drop them off and then pick them up later, but I got time anyways because I'm gonna drop the transmission. Alright, back from dropping the knuckles off. Going to start getting the transmission ready to drop. Best tool for getting your the shift linkage pin out is actually a power steering. I think it's a power steering bracket bolt or a air conditioning pump bolt, because it's got this little thing and it fits perfect through the hole for where the pin goes. I'll try to show you under the car. Just kind of opening up the parts, making sure everything's here. This is how you know XD is a good company. 1, made in Japan, and 2, you got the JDM cartoons, like everything in Japan you buy, I feel like. I'm gonna go through quick and take everything out of the car, because there's a bunch of random stuff, just to kind of get everything, or see what parts are still here. Got some Ricer hot air intake, some new WD-40, looks like brake fluid, but there's some parts in the trunk too. Like the radiator was already out of the car and stuff, but I gotta go through and just get everything out. I'm gonna just reuse the stock header because I'm not sure what aftermarket I can run. Maybe I'll look it up or whatever. That'll still clear power steering stuff and air conditioning stuff, because I want to leave that in there. Got some aftermarket stock muffler. Probably gonna go with a Yonica exhaust like I did on my Acura Integra because I like the sound of it. Just to kind of upgrade, especially being a GSR. There you got your pin and your special bolt, and it fits perfect, and it even has a little shoulder so it doesn't slip out of there. Normal punches are kind of a pain in the butt, and you start mushrooming the head. The kid already wailed on it trying to get it out, and you can see right here where it's smashed over. But I even offered to come do it for him when he was taking the clutch out. I told him I'd come get the pin out for him, but he ended up trying it himself. Kind of had a detour. My buddy texted me, asked me if I wanted to go get tacos in the city. So can't turn down tacos, especially on a Tuesday. But I also found a set of Steelies for $40, and she actually took $20 for them for the other RT 4-wheel drive wagon to sell. So yeah, wasted a little bit of time, but it's all right because that was a good deal. I'm gonna clean these up too quick and put them up for sale just so I can start making money back and continue to drop the transmission. Being underneath the car, kind of noticing it's actually really dry, especially for almost 200,000 miles on it. So either it was well maintained or just, I don't know. There's usually be oil everywhere. The valve cover gasket needs to be replaced, but other than that, I mean, the oil pan is like clean. So I sprayed the transmission mount bolts just because obviously those ones are notorious for the stud backing out with the nut, the two side ones. So I just wanted to try to prevent that as best I could. There's no corrosion on them or anything, but while I'm doing that, I'm just kind of looking through and all these random hoses unclipped, and like I just put the ground back by the thermostat, and so many things are just unhooked, all these hoses and stuff. So I'm just kind of working on this. Just figured I'd show you just some of the annoying crap that I'm doing behind the scenes. All right, today's the next day. I was about to pull the transmission last night. I was gonna hook up my cherry picker that I was given by a coworker, so that's pretty sweet. I was gonna hook up the cherry picker to the motor so I could start driving the tranny, and I realized I must have lost my chain when I moved. So I had to go this morning and pick up chain. I picked up the steering knuckles with new wheel bearings pressed. So hopefully today we'll get the clutch changed out. So just got the cover off the backside of the transmission. Maybe he did blow the clutch. I guess I'm probably gonna need a freaking flywheel now too. So that's kind of bogus. Yeah, that's bad. I don't know what he did. We'll find out when I get it dropped. Alright, so I only got like 3 bolts left in the transmission. Got the motor mount, or the transmission mount already unhooked. I just got this kind of holding this corner of the engine because obviously it wants to twist down this corner once you take this out. And then I got the jack underneath. I'm gonna just try to work it out by myself. I've done transmissions by myself in EF several times. It's just a pain in the butt. So we'll see what happens. Alright, well, it's out. As you saw when I took it out, there was another chunk of the clutch, and then there's a bunch of crap in here. Like, this is, I don't even know, man. I've seen clutches explode at like 9,000 RPM and stuff, but I don't know what happened here. I guess I'm not too familiar with clutches exploding other than that, so hopefully the engine's not grenaded or something. Yeah, we'll pull this off and see the damage. Oh yeah. Just a little clapped. Jeez. I'm kind of curious what happened there. I've never seen that before. The backside is gone. Flywheel looks like it has hot spots, so that sucks because now the car's gonna have to sit till I get a flywheel. So I just ordered a new flywheel, just a stock one. There's no sense in upgrading it because this one is smoked. Kind of sucks because I really want to get more progress done on the car on my days off, but it looks like I'm gonna be waiting for a flywheel. I don't want to do the water pump timing belt while this side is kind of suspended in the air. That's just going to be difficult. But anyways, I guess I got to end the video here. If you want to keep track of the build, hit the notification bell on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe if you like the video. I appreciate it. And if you want to kind of stay up to date more, follow my Instagram, poverty_society. Kind of get updated there a little quicker. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Sorry it's kind of not too progressive, but it is what it is when you find a Integra half apart in someone's barn and have to put it back together just to get it here. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And one more thing. If you watched my last video with the blue RT 4-wheel drive wagon that I bought to flip, you'll know it had some energy parts in it, and they're basically brand new. The guy put them in and then sold the car. And this was one of them, the shift knob. I'm never going to use it. I don't like the color, and it's just not really my style, but it's got everything. It's got all the inserts. It has a Honda one in it right now, and it even has a sticker box, everything. I was thinking about doing a giveaway with it. If you think you'd be interested, comment below. I got to figure out how to kind of set that up. I'm going to do it to whoever is a subscriber, obviously, and I'm going to be giving it away at the end of this build series, or revival series rather. So once I get the car running and driving and the panels from the white car put on it, or once I am able to paint it, if the weather stays nice where I can actually paint it, then I will give away the shift knob to one of my subscribers. So if you really want to stay up to date with this revival, then turn the notification bell on, follow my Instagram. You'll be up to date pretty much before YouTube. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, comment below and maybe give me ideas to how to set this up. Thanks for watching.